with Chairman Lombardi and staff. You got anything to kind of what the comments please?
Hi, Warden.
Hey, how are you, sir?
Good, how you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Okay. 50
Okay, how you doing?
Yeah.
and 20, 23 and J1.
Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah.
And 2 inside. There's 5 inside.
They're ice guys? Yeah.
Sorry, 18 and J1. And 5 and J. Okay, thank you.
Okay, that makes sense. 58. That sounds pretty accurate. Probably less than that today. You want more than out maybe?
Yes.
It's not the same. I'll do that all done.
Somebody got a camera on me. Who's that? Who's that person?
Oh, I don't know. Leave it on.
You're gonna have to sit right here, Dave, but I can't. You're gonna have to be my assistant.
So what happens on
Yeah. It's view at the top. There was gallery view. It's gone now.
gallery view?
There we go. No. Okay. Yeah.
Go 5, Dave. You gotta. No, you need to go over here, because I don't know how to push these buttons. I'm gonna push it. You're gonna put the chair right over here. So right next to me. You're my assistant for that. You've been officially deputized as the assistant to the warden. I got more assistants than I've got liver bills. I'm not saying the parents should do that. Yeah, I do it all the time, man. We got more complaints than got liver bills. Are we muted or people hearing us?
Can everybody hear us?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, we got Mr. Lamoureux there.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Mr. Lamoureux. Who are we waiting on? Linda's on there. Is Mr. Yip, sir?
Yeah.
Mr. Yip, how are you?
Yeah.
Mr. Yip, right?
Good. How are you?
Good.
That's Brandy as the map.
Where'd you go? How are you, sir?
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
See you guys? How's quarantine for everyone?
We're doing okay, sir.
That was great.
Okay. And 1 out of J1.
All right. Who are we waiting on? We're just waiting on Will, right?
Yeah.
Is Will on? All right, Will's getting on now. Will, how are you, Will?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you, sir?
Good, good.
Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, we have Director Abaletta, Director Verdugo, and Director Yip that are currently present for the meeting, and Attorney Lamoureux.
Okay. Let me get back to, I don't know,
Just notice some stuff that I thought.
just figure out what I'm doing here. All right.
To interpret it as,
Is everyone ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
we're recording this, correct?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Okay. I'll call the Central Falls Detention Facility Corporation meeting to order. Let's see, of 4/22/20. I'll call the roll. Chairman Lombardi is here, Vice Chairman Abaletta.
Present?
Mr. Yip?
Yip, can Mr. Yip hear us? Is he unmuted?
yeah.
Is he unmuted himself, or we unmuted him, or? Mr. Yip, hang on, stand by, sir.
Sure.
Try to make sure Mr. Yip is unmuted. What's he under, you know?
I see him.
Yeah.
Mr. Yip, can you hear us?
Let me text him. Sir, are you unmuted? Question mark. I don't know if he has his phone with him, but I just texted him to see if he's unmuted.
Okay. Can you text, chat with them or something?
Yeah.
I got the Zoom chat. Let me see if I can do it.
Is it audio on the top? See if he'll answer his phone.
Let's see.
Let's contact him via phone if he'll answer. Is there any way to chat with him to say?
I just chatted him.
Oh.
It says group chat, and then I just identified him.
Okay. I'm trying to call him too. No, he didn't pick up? Okay.
Says he's connected to audio now.
Okay.
Mr. Yip, can you hear us?
I can hear you now.
Okay. So you are present?
Present.
Mr. Verdugo?
Present.
Is Councilman Silva here? I believe he is absent. I'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Flag right behind us.
Right?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The minutes of the meeting were in the package. Does anybody have any questions? I'll entertain a motion to pass the minutes of April 1st, 2020. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to pass the minutes for April 20th.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
I second it.
Seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Warden, you're up next. Your report.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. I'll do my best to kind of articulate my report. Unfortunately, with some of the events in the past couple of days with our first active COVID case, We've been a little busy, so I'll kind of speak to some general numbers with detainees and staff, and I'll certainly speak to the current process as we are, working with the Department of Health regarding the active case. So for some general information, we have a facility census of 583 detainees. Okay, we have 481 marshal detainees, 20 female, and approximately 81 or 82 immigration detainees. We have one released today. So the census is down a bit. The average daily population for March was 692. Currently, we have 229 full-time FTEs. We currently have 30 staff on leave. Certainly that's significant, and that's certainly based on the fact that we have a lot of staff that, are out either on military leave or out on some type of general quarantine for their clinician, or out based on, some symptomatic symptoms of COVID, and we're certainly directing them to follow their healthcare provider as it relates to any symptoms they may have. So without getting into a lot of detail there, I'll leave it at that. Certainly that gives some challenge to our security staff. That's the bulk of the employees that are out. Our security supervisors are in pretty good shape. We only have 2 of those out, and then we only have 1 security manager or lieutenant out. So again, we're still functioning pretty well, but it's certainly been a little challenging the past few days. Since the last meeting, we did hire a full-time program counselor and a full-time key and tool coordinator, which started very recently. These folks were already in the pipeline and screened before the COVID process. Some general information, which is positive today, is that the J1 unit that you folks have authorized for us to put into a negative pressure process, similar to the 2 cells that are down in the actual medical unit. That process has been completed today, thanks to Mr. Clifford and his staff. So at this time, we have upwards to 50 beds that we could utilize for negative pressure, which certainly is critical. We certainly had done a very good job at mitigating the entry of the COVID-19 into the facility up until, certainly yesterday, 21st of April. The suspicion, and I have no certain way to substantiate this other than my own personal experience, is this prisoner came in on April 2nd. He transferred in from another facility on April 2nd. He was screened by our medical staff. When he came in, he didn't display any symptoms. He was assigned to the J1 unit, which is the intake quarantine unit. At the time, the process was he would house in his cell for 5 days. He would house in his cell for 5 days under quarantine, come out only 1 hour a day, and then he was medically screened again, and then he would be allowed out to recreate in that unit for the remainder of the 9 days. What it was is you had to be in that unit for a total of 14 days. So he came in on this. He came in on the 2nd. He left the unit on the 16th. He went from J1 unit. He went to H unit for 1 day. He went from H unit to B unit for 3 days. He left on the 16th to go out to general population. He became symptomatic on the 18th. He was seen by medical on the 19th. He was screened for COVID on the 20th, and he came back tested positive for the 21st. So the only thing that kind of occurred, and we learned through this process, is that it was verified by the Department of Health once we notified them and informed them about the active case, is that there really should be a 16-day window of quarantine within that process. Because what they do is they take the actual day that the person became symptomatic, which was the 18th, and they go back 2 days. So their real concern for time for infection to other individuals is the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. while one would think it goes back to the second, it doesn't. The epidemiology is a process where they figure that out. So certainly we're screening all the detainees in Bravo Pod will be tested. We have 31 that were tested today by the department. Well, we're doing the testing that goes to the Department of Health. We'll test the remaining of those detainees in there tomorrow. They're currently on a modified, they're on lockdown. And then we'll move into H unit, which is where he was for 1 day. The good thing there is he was housed alone in H unit, but he may have had exposure to people in the block. In J1, we're still evaluating whether that J1 unit will be tested. More likely it will, just as a precautionary measure, because he was in there, even though the time frame looks like it may have been right on that line. We're working with the Department of Health to also screen staff, not screen them, but test them. So we're hoping to get that process going tomorrow. What the facility has done is it went into lockdown yesterday. They did a full mitigation. Mr. Clifford and his staff went around and sanitized all of the main common areas throughout the facility, to include the receiving and discharge area. All of the detainees and all the other units were screened, not tested, but screened. There's a difference between screening and testing. The screening is we're going around, seeing if people are symptomatic, asking if they have any issues, and so far we haven't had any other cases that have been identified. We are in the process of distributing extra supplies to the detainees, as you folks had approved in the last board meeting. If they were going to be on a lockdown status, board games, radios, deck of cards, things of that nature. So is there anything else I can answer that you folks may have questions to, or things I haven't thought of?
Warden, is there anything else that we could be doing? Anything that you need us to authorize?
At this time, Mr. Chairman, not that we can think of. I mean, that could be fluid. Things could be fluid. It's obviously a very fluid process. We'll definitely keep you informed on what's going on. So far, everything's been going fairly well. As you know, we got some mitigation to the CARES Act there, so that certainly will support us. But there may be some things moving forward we may need to look at. But at this time, I think we're okay. But thank you.
Do any board members have any questions?
All set on my end.
Bill?
People muted? Will, can you hear us, Will?
Yeah, you can.
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right. Okay.
All right, so then we'll move on to the finance report.
Okay, tonight we'll be discussing the month of March. Very similar to what Warden discussed, our ADP for the month was 692. We actually reached a high, I think probably a decade high, 728 at one point in the month. Things started to kind of go downhill when the COVID was introduced into society. From a revenue standpoint, we're looking very well. On the expense side, start to see sort of some of the COVID mitigation costs creep in. We stacked up on supplies, obviously the building build-up that Director Clifford put together or did with the negative pressure unit. And we still ended up overall profitable from an operating standpoint. But you can see that the mitigation started to break into the cost. And that kind of does it for March itself. I don't know if you gentlemen had any questions related to that.
Are there any questions?
All good on my end.
Mine as well.
Nope. Okay, let's move on to new business. There are a number of RFPs that went out, and right now we're authorizing the warden to follow through on these RFPs. you can take a look at them individually, but does anybody have any questions? I mean, I can ask the warden. Warden, are we budgeted for all of these items? The RFPs?
Yes, sir, yeah. These were all authorized for the capital projects budget, am I correct? Saying that, Nunzio?
Yes,
Right?
yes, sir. Yeah.
Right.
Ian,
Dog
Warden,
capital.
they were properly bid under state law, to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Does anybody have any questions on any of them?
So, if necessary, I can have Fred certainly articulate. Do you want Mr. Clifford to go over these for you, Mr. Chairman?
That's if you want to just briefly let us know what each one is. I mean, they're in the packet.
Yep.
But just I guess in a general sense, you can do each one.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Clifford kind of go over these. He's vetted them out pretty closely with Nunzio. Okay. Right. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
I'll start with the number one, the financial advisor services. That went out again. Haven't got that back yet. The second one is the Motorola.
Oh, wait. Mr. Clifford, the first one we did get back, the financial advisory services.
But it went out again, correct?
No, not.
No,
So-
we got one response on that.
So the first one went out. We had no bids. We extended it.
Okay.
My understanding was a bid was received, and it's in our
Yeah.
package. Is that correct? I think Nunzio
Yeah.
was handling that. Nunzio?
Yes, that's correct. It should be included. I believe it's the very last document in the package.
It's on page 225 of the PDF.
Yeah.
And that is to help us. That is to help us either refinance the bonds or renegotiate the outstanding amount of the bonds.
Yeah.
Okay. Next item, auditing services.
That Nunzio.
Yeah, I can speak to that. We received 3 proposals. You can obviously figure what page they're on exactly. Did receive 3 complete proposals, 3 reputable firms. We're kind of analyzing the cost structure on each one. Obviously, we're all here for everyone to go through and look at.
So are you looking for us to authorize you to pick the lowest bidder?
Yeah, I mean, we went through it individually, and we thought that the bid from O'Connell Drew would be the best as far as both services provided, the full audit and the audit of the 401k service that we have. I don't know if you guys wanted to award that this evening or take a look at them. But we felt that would be the best that fit our need as far as lowest bidder and providing both services.
Okay, so are they the lowest bidder?
The lowest combined bidder, yeah.
Okay. All right. Move on to the parking lot expansion.
Okay, the parking lot expansion. There were 3 bidders: Parkford Paving, Cardi Corporation, and Kingston Services. We kind of chose Kingston Services. Their bid was $24,600, which was the second bidder. Hartford Paving was $24,400, but Kingston Services is going to be doing quite a bit more work for us in the proposal than Hartford Paving.
Okay. So the lowest responsible bidder.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's Kingston Services Company.
Okay.
The disability accessible parking, there was only 1 bidder, and that's Kingston Services.
Okay. Are you satisfied with that bid?
Absolutely.
Telephone system?
Telephone system, we had two bidders on that. NWN Innovation and also Aqueduct Technologies. After putting apples to apples with this, it seems like Aqueduct Technologies, even though it appears to be more money, after the first year, it's actually going to be cheaper because the first company didn't want to put new phones in, and our phones are only good till 2021. So next year we're going to have to replace that, which is at a substantial cost of $62,000 added on to theirs, which would actually go over what Aqueduct Technologies is. Then the annual reoccurring cost, which is to maintain our phones, NWN was actually $30,000 a year higher than Aqueduct Technologies.
Okay.
So I would say go with Aqueduct Technologies.
Okay.
And then the last one is the Motorola console and infrastructure upgrade. There was only one bidder on that also.
And you're satisfied with that bid?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's very thorough.
They maintain our system as of now, and that's who we purchase all our radios.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Nope. No, sir.
Nope, no questions.
Okay. Then I'll entertain a motion to authorize the warden to move forward on the lowest responsible bidders as presented.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the warden to give to the lowest responsible bidders.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Let me roll call it. Myself, yes. Vice Chairman Abaletta?
Yes.
Mr. Yip?
Yes.
Mr. Verdugo?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Moving on to, does anybody have any further business that they want to discuss? Does anybody have anything? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
No, second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. We're adjourned. Thank you very much.
Take care.
you.
Stay safe, everyone.
Everybody stay safe.
Stay safe, please.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
That's the board meeting ever.